Ingredients needed for the cornbread recipe are 1 cup of cornmeal, 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. We're using half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 2/3 cup of granulated sugar. Our wet and moist ingredients are 2 eggs, 1 stick of butter that's completely melted, half a cup of sour cream, and this is 1 cup of buttermilk. So we're going to prep the 8x8 square inch pan with some butter. So I'm taking just a small amount of cold butter and I am rubbing the butter around the pan to grease it. You don't have to use all of the butter, but just so you have a nice thin layer of butter here. And then we're gonna add a little bit of the flour on the pan. I'm gonna tap this around the pan to gently coat all that butter. Okay, the excess, I'm going to tap it into the garbage. So once you tap the excess flour into the garbage, your pan's gonna look like this. First, we're going to mix all of our dry ingredients into one bowl together. So we are going to add the cornmeal, the flour, sugar, salt, and baking soda, all in one bowl. And we're going to mix all of the dry ingredients together until well combined. In a separate bowl, we're going to whisk together all of the liquid ingredients. First, we're gonna start off with the 2 eggs and the 1 cup of buttermilk. So I'm gonna pour that in, and I'm going to use my whisk to beat the eggs and buttermilk together until combined. Okay, once you've got that, you're going to now add the 1 stick of melted butter into the bowl. Continue to whisk it together. Step is to add your half cup of sour cream. So you're gonna wanna use your rubber scraper or rubber spatula to get all of the sour cream out of the measuring cup. So just scrape all of that out. Okay, as best as you can. You can use your finger. Okay, drop that in. And we are going to mix that sour cream until it's all blended. And you'll see what it looks like in a moment. So as you can see, all the liquid and wet ingredients are mixed together. Okay, so we've got our wet ingredient bowl and our dry ingredient bowl. At this point, we're going to add the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients slowly, making sure everything gets in. Here you're gonna take your rubber spatula again and get all of the wet ingredients into the dry ingredient bowl. And we're gonna start to fold in the wet ingredients. So folding is just taking your spatula and turning it over so it's just combined. So I'm gonna continue doing this until I no longer see any more dry spots. Okay, if you overmix, your cornbread will be a little heavier and dense and not as light and airy. So this is called the folding in method. I'm just going around and around until I see no more dry spots. And I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. All right, so here's the cornbread batter once everything is folded in. At this point, I'm gonna bring the pan back and we're going to pour all of the batter into our pan. So I'm using my spatula to get all of the batter in. Okay. If you notice you have any batter on the edges of the pan, you can just take a paper towel and wipe that away so it doesn't burn and stick. And you're going to gently tap the pan on the counter to allow the batter to settle to the bottom and us not have any air bubbles. Okay, so we ended up baking this for about 25 minutes. It needed a few extra minutes. At this point, we're going to take the cornbread out. And we're going to check for doneness with a toothpick. So you're gonna insert a toothpick right in the center, check and see if it comes out dry. If that's the case, it's done. We're gonna let this cool for a couple of minutes and then you can slice it into squares and serve it. Enjoy.